The movie starts in a police station, where we see a man named Hutch Mansell, whose face is heavily bruised and bloodied. He is holding a stray cat and giving it some tuna while he smokes a cigarette. There are two detectives who are interrogating him. One of the officer asks him, "Who are you?" He replies that he is nobody. After this, the movie then goes back to a few days earlier. We see Hutch living a very ordinary life. He exercises in the morning, goes to work at his boring job, and always misses the garbage truck. He is married to Becca, a real estate agent, and they have two kids named Blake and Sammy. Hutch and Becca have grown apart, and Blake doesn't have much respect for his dad. One night, Hutch is checking on his kids. When he looks into Blake's room, his son points downstairs, indicating there's a break-in. Hutch quietly goes downstairs and sees a couple, Luis and Lupita, trying to steal from the house. He takes golf club and starts calling police, but Lupita notices Hutch and points her gun at him. She then asks him to give cash money. Hutch calmly tells her to take the money from the cash bowl in the kitchen. The couple also demands Hutch's watch and wedding ring, but he only gives them the watch. While Lupita is pointing gun at him, he notices her tattoo on her hand. As they try to leave, Blake tackles Luis and holds him down. Lupita comes towards them with the gun, and Hutch seems about to hit her with a golf club but stops. He tells Blake to let Luis go. Blake releases him, and Luis punches Blake before he and Lupita run away. His wife and son look disgusted at him. The police arrive later, and Hutch feels guilty about what happened. Both Blake and the officer criticize Hutch for not taking action. At work, Hutch's boss and father-in-law, Eddie, talks to him about the incident. Becca's brother, Charlie, gives Hutch a gun for protection. Hutch later speaks with his brother, Harry, over the radio, as Harry is in hiding. Harry asks him about the last night robbery. Hutch then explains to Harry that he didn't take down the robbers because he saw that Lupita's gun was unloaded, and they are scared, so he did not take any action. Hutch then visits his retired FBI agent father, David, who notices that Hutch doesn't look well. Even though Hutch tries to carry on with his daily routine, he can't stop feeling guilty for not protecting his family. When Sammy mentions that her kitty cat bracelet is missing, Hutch realizes the robbers must have taken it. Determined to make things right, he sets off on a bus to find the thieves. Hutch visits his father David's place while he's sleeping to get his old FBI badge and gun. David wakes up and sees him, but Hutch just says he needs to handle something, and the father agrees. Remembering a tattoo on Lupita's wrist, Hutch visits several tattoo parlors, asking about it. Then he comes across a shady one to ask about that tattoo. He shows his father's badge and asks about the tattoo, but the man catches him as the badge is already expired. The men there try to intimidate him until one of them notices a tattoo on Hutch's wrist resembling a pair of cards. Recognizing its significance, the man thanks Hutch for his service and quickly leaves. The tattoo artist, realizing Hutch is serious, points him toward the person who got the tattoo. Hutch then goes to that direction provided by tattoo artist and locates Luis and Lupita's apartment and breaks in. He hits Luis with his gun, frightening them into returning his watch, but when he asks about Sammy's bracelet, they are shocked to hear about the bracelet, as they did not steal it. Suddenly, Hutch hears the sound of baby crying. He goes to the room and sees they have a sick baby. He then realizes that they rob his house in order to pay medical bills to their baby. The couple then pleads with him to leave. Feeling frustrated, Hutch steps out into the rain and angrily punches a brick wall. Hutch then boards a bus heading home. A group of men, who have just drunkenly crashed their car, gets on and starts bothering the other passengers, including a young woman. Hutch asks the bus driver to step out so he can handle the situation. He begins fighting the men, who land a few punches, but Hutch soon overpowers them. They stab him in the side with a knife, but he continues to fight back, stabbing a few of them before being thrown out the window. Despite his injuries, Hutch gets back on his feet and re-enters the bus to continue the brawl. One of the men, Teddy, grabs Hutch's gun and tries to shoot him while the others are down. Hutch quickly grabs a pole from the bus, disarms Teddy, and hits him with the pole until he cracks Teddy's windpipe. As Teddy starts to suffocate, Hutch performs a tracheotomy to help him breathe. Hutch then walks home, where he finds Becca still awake. She sees his injuries and understands what he's been up to, knowing about his past. While she patches up his stab wound, Hutch mentions how they haven't been close for a long time, and it's been bothering him. At a local nightclub, mobster Yulian Kuznetsov arrives, does some dances, and meets with some associates to discuss the security of their shared fortune, known as the Obshak. The others doubt Yulian's abilities because of his dancing and other peculiar behaviors. To prove his seriousness, Yulian takes the handle of a broken martini glass and slashes an Obshak shareholder in the face for looking at him wrong, then slashes his throat, showing he is not to be underestimated. The others toast a man's death, happy that it means more money for them. Meanwhile, Yulian gets a call and tells him to come to the hospital, where he finds his younger brother, Teddy, in a terrible state. The doctors inform him that Teddy has suffered permanent brain damage. Enraged, Yulian violently interrogates Teddy's friends to find out what happened and who is responsible. The man tells him that he does not know the name of that man, so Julian beats him more violently. Another man, who is also injured by Hutch, gives him a metro ticket that Hutch left during the fight. Hatch is with family, ready to take breakfast, but suddenly, phone rings. He goes to receive and finds out it's his brother, Harry, calling. He tells him that he has caught Julian's attention and that Julian is very dangerous. Harry advises Hutch to visit a man named the barber for information about Julian. Hutch goes downtown and finds the barber, who is waiting him to come. The barber gives Hutch a file on Julian, highlighting his violent nature and explaining that the Obshat guards millions of dollars in mob money. Meanwhile, Julian orders his henchwoman to find out everything she can about Hutch. She blackmails her FBI informant with compromising photos until he goes into the archives and retrieves highly classified information on Hutch. FBI retrieves the file and sends to that henchwoman. When the henchwoman learns that Hutch was once a ruthless killer, she decides to quit and leaves Julian to handle things himself. Julian then commands all his men to go after Hutch and bring him in alive. As the Hutch and family get ready for dinner, Hutch notices 3 cars parking across the street. Realizing danger is near, he quickly has Becca and the kids hide in the basement's panic room. He then turns off the lights as gunmen enter the house. Hutch fights them, shooting and stabbing most of them until one teased him in the neck. The gunmen drag him in the trunk of the car, planning to take him to Julian. However, when they are taking him to Julian, Hutch wakes up and pops open the trunk. Seeing he can't roll out, he grabs a fire extinguisher, opens the back seat, and sprays the car, causing the gunman to crash. Hutch crawls out and finds one of Julian's men still alive, but trapped under the car, bleeding out. As the man dies, Hutch explains that he used to be an auditor, a kind of hitman everyone feared. Hutch then rushes home and calls his father, David, warning him to be careful. He frees his family from the panic room, covering Sammy's eyes so she won't see the dead bodies in the house. Hutch sends Becca and the kids to a safe place, and she asks him to make sure he returns to them. He then goes back to house and open locker, where huge quantity of gold is hidden inside. He then collects the gold in the bags and drags the bodies of the gunmen, including one who is barely alive, and takes him to the basement. He begins talking about his past, recalling his last job. He was supposed to kill a man who was embezzling money, but the man pleaded for his life, and Hutch saw that he was truly sorry for his actions, so he let him go. After a year, Hutch went to check that man and found the man living happily with his wife and 2 kids. Hutch admitted he felt jealous, which made him decide to retire and settle down. He then covers the basement in kerosene and sets the house on fire before leaving to take care of more business. Hutch then brings a bag of gold bars to Eddie and offers to buy the place. Charlie is upset, thinking he'll be out of a job, and tries to attack Hutch, only to get punched in the gut. Eddie accepts the payment, and Hutch begins rearranging the place and setting up booby traps everywhere. He then sets out to find Julian and the Obshat, kills all the guards, and burns all of Julian's money. Meanwhile, 2 of Julian's goons go to the retirement home where Hutch left David. They try to catch him while he's sleeping, but David is ready and blasts one goon with a shotgun before suffocating the other. Hutch goes to Julian's nightclub and calmly has a meal. The gunmen surround him, but Hutch reveals a claymore mine strapped to his finger as a precaution. Julian orders his men to back off and talks to Hutch. Hutch tells Julian that he has destroyed everything he owns. Julian loses his temper when he realizes the Obshat is gone. Hutch leaves from there in his car, and Julian orders his man to follow him. Hutch leads them on a high-speed chase through the streets, killing several men before making it back to the warehouse. The villains arrive at the warehouse and start shooting at Hutch. To his surprise, Harry and David show up to help him. Together, they shoot, stab, and blow up multiple goons, using booby traps like a mechanism that fires bars to impale the henchmen and another that causes explosions. They are left facing Julian, who vows to go after Hutch's whole family. Hutch grabs the claymore mine and tapes it to a bulletproof glass window. He runs toward Julian, pulls the pin, and blasts Julian against the wall, killing him. Hutch thanks Harry and David for their help but tells them to leave before the cops arrive. He then finds the cat and takes it with him. Back in the interrogation room, Hutch repeats to the detectives that he is just nobody. The detectives then receive mysterious phone calls, with nothing being said. Reluctantly, they are forced to let Hutch go. 3 months later, Hutch and Becca are checking out a new house. The real estate agent gets a phone call for Hutch, who answers it. Although nothing is said on the call, it's clear that someone might still be after Hutch. Hutch and Becca then ask if the house has a basement. In this way, movie ends here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more interesting movie recaps.